Within a few seconds, a normal Monday turned into a nightmare. Shockwaves of the collapse were felt throughout the George CBD, with workers and the public running out of offices and shops to see what happened.
We just felt this tremor through the building. I work a couple of 100 meters away from where the site is. And somebody came in, told us the building that they're busy working on just collapsed. And we went, looked out the window. The building that was there this morning wasn't there.
Within minutes, volunteers and rescue workers were on scene to assist, and units were being called in from across the province.
We're trying to get water into the people. So those are the kind of steps that we have to follow. And then from tomorrow, we'll start bringing in heavy equipment to start lifting up all the collapsed structures. But at the moment, as long as we're hearing life, we have to focus in that with our rescue teams.
Obviously, the emergency and the most important thing at the moment is to get the people out there. So we're coming with some sniffer dogs. We've got 3 sniffer dogs that's on its way, as well as the handlers that will be here for the next couple of days to attend to the rescue.
Over the next few days, government officials arrived on scene.
The main focus is to save as many lives as possible of those 49 workers that are still trapped in this building. And it is a rescue site, and that is the critical part right now, and that is the main focus.
Family members of the victims were accommodated in the nearby Civic Centre. The Department of Social Development and service organizations supplied them with food and necessities. For many, it was a harrowing experience waiting to hear if their loved ones survived or not. By the Saturday, 14 deceased were retrieved and 28 survivors rescued. Hope was lost of finding anyone alive, but then a miracle occurred. After 118 hours trapped, 32-year-old Gabriel Guambe was pulled from the rubble.
One of our dogs, Willie, the dog handler, his dog indicated. And then we spoke down there and we actually heard the person. And he was quite alert and he was sounding okay. He told us he had some weight on his legs, so we were very scared that, if we release him too quickly. So we got surgeons in to make sure they'll work against that.
10 days after the collapse, President Cyril Ramaphosa visited the scene and assured survivors and family members of a proper investigation and compensation.
So we will make sure that we leave no stone unturned. And where there has to be accountability, it will be there. And the good thing is that everything is being done according to the book. It will take some time to really fathom everything and go to the bottom. But I can assure you that the seriousness with which this matter is being given attention will lead to the truth coming out.
A day later, rescue and recovery operations ended, with everyone involved in the collapse accounted for. Of the 61 people on site, 33 were found deceased and 29 rescued. Unfortunately, one of those in hospital later passed away. The site was handed over to the police, whereafter the Department of Employment and Labour took over investigations.
Now we're trying to make the site as safe as possible, because now we're sitting with a hole in the ground, and then it will be handed over. So, it's quite a relief to get here, but I think it's still very much a shock to the system to think where we were a week ago and a little bit longer than a week ago when we had this huge amount of rubble lying here.
Over the following months, survivors and their families were mostly left to their own devices.
We've got nothing, no food. Yeah, there is people that help us out there. But the government promised something that it didn't do. Nothing. Even our former boss didn't do anything. No one even asked how are we doing, how are we eating. They didn't even come and visit us to the hospital. It's other people that they care about us. They didn't even know us. They just know us after the incident.
Service organizations and NGOs did their best to assist where they could.
We want to help. There are other issues. There are other dramas that they have in their lives. They need things. Some of them need passports. Some of them need money to live. They cannot work. It's 2 months down the line since this disaster.
In June, the Engineering Council of South Africa placed an engineer linked to the collapse on suspension. During a roadshow by the Department of Employment and Labour in November, officials gave an update on the investigations.
Normally, accidents of this nature, they are quite complex. So when you investigate, it's a whole protracted process. We're not sure how long this one is going to take, but if we were to judge this by past experiences, we know that the average time is no less than 3 years and more. It depends on what is involved.
Some family members have since received compensation from the Federated Employers Mutual Assurance. The George municipality has also confirmed that the 173,000 rand in donations they received will be distributed to the survivors and the deceased families still living in South Africa in the form of 2,500 rand grocery vouchers. Tanya Krause, SABC News, George in the Western Cape.